asking and the way you've explained that is important. You said, I don't know how to rest without feeling guilty. Okay. When you said that, you told me, because, we talked, you didn't just submit this, we talked about this, and you told me like it was just something small, almost like a joke. But I watched your face when you said it. I saw something underneath the joke. And I want to tell you what I think is actually happening here, because I've heard this exact sentence from people over and over again. And honestly, they couldn't be more different from each other on paper. I mean, I've heard people who are executives, who are multimillionaires, who are, professionals in high demand jobs and successful entrepreneurs. I've heard parents who stay home with kids and never clock out. I mean, people who are in their 70s and in their 40s and in their 20s, some of which have built much, and people in their 20s who've not built much at all yet, and people in their 60s who've built more than most people and still can't sit still with it. I mean, people who grew up with plenty and people who grew up with nothing. The circumstances never match, but the sentence is almost identical. Man, I feel guilty when I rest. I feel like I'm lazy. Word for word, something universal is going on there. Underneath all the different lives that it shows up in, there's some common thread, some common river, if you will. I want you to sit with that for a second. I mean, you said you feel guilty when you rest. Not tired, not bored, guilty. I mean, guilt is not what shows up when you're doing something wrong by accident, right? Guilt guilt arrives when some part of you believes that you're breaking a rule and you know it. So the real question isn't why can't you rest? The real question is, what rule did you learn and who taught you this rule? And were they ever even trying to teach it, or did you just absorb it like through osmosis or something because it was the water that you were swimming in? You got it. I mean, think about what this actually looks like in your life. From week to week, from day to day, from minute to minute, because it's rarely dramatic enough for anyone to notice, including you. I mean, it's a Sunday afternoon where you finally sit down and within 10 minutes, you're up again. You're finding something to organize. You're finding something to do. It's a vacation maybe. And like I did for years, you bring your laptop just in case. And you never open it, but you needed it there like a piece of medical equipment, like it was your heartbeat. It's lying at bed at night, exhausted, and instead of sleeping, you're making a list in your head of everything you should have gotten done that day, things that are going to be stacked up on tomorrow, and none of that looks like a crisis from the outside. It just looks like you're a hard worker. I mean, someone with a strong work ethic. I mean, that's what reliable and dependable means, right? I mean, nobody around you is worried about it, and that's the part that makes it hard to see. Most people who feel this can trace it if they're honest, and many, maybe nobody ever sat down and said you have to earn rest. Nobody really had to. You just noticed as a kid which version of you got the warmth and which version of you get the silence or the sigh. And you noticed that being busy got seen as resting. When you were finished, got busy, being busy. What am I trying to say here? Was praise and resting was not. Because how many people get praise? Good for you. You took some time out for yourself. I mean, I think about the kind of scene that produces this. As a child, the kid doing homework at the kitchen table, and the parent moves around the house doing chores, and the kid who's sitting still with a book gets asked if they don't have anything better to do. You got nothing better to do? Or the kid sitting still with listening to some classical music, or the kid sitting still, drawing. You got nothing better to do? A kid who takes a day to just play gets compared, out loud or not, to the sibling who's out earning money or practicing something or building something. I mean, it doesn't take cruelty to build this rule. It just takes consistency. And the people around who slowed down, got treated like something was wrong, or even questioned, or even in a humorous sense questioned. Sometimes not even in words at all, just in the way the room's temperature shifted. A kid does not argue with evidence like that. That just doesn't happen. That kid adjusts and adapts and learns quietly and permanently without ever deciding to do anything. The way a plant leans toward wherever the light is, so a kid learns to lean toward where things feel acceptable. So this is not laziness catching up with you, and it's not some flaw where you simply don't know how to relax the way other people apparently do. This is not what this is. This is what happens when your nervous system learned a long time ago that stopping was dangerous, and it never got the message that the danger was over. The danger was no longer there. Your body's still running that old program, that old belief system in a room that doesn't need it anymore. I mean, think about what that cost you. Think about what it cost you, and it's not small. It costs you actual physical rest, the kind that your body needs for repair at the cellular level, the kind that shows up in your sleep and your immune system, the tightness you probably carry in your shoulders without even noticing it anymore, the headaches that you've started treating as normal. But underneath that, it costs you something else. It costs you the ability to just be a person without performing usefulness to justify your own existence. It costs you something in relationships too. And this is the part people miss. I mean, we see it, but we don't see it. We look at the symptom, but we don't recognize this is what it is. The people who love you would probably like to see you sit still with them sometimes without you narrating everything you should be doing, without the low hum of what I call urgent restlessness that's always in the room, even when your body is technically in the chair. I mean, they've learned not to invite you to just sit anymore because they know that you'll resist. And even if you don't resist, you'll come in and you'll be somewhere else in your head within 5 minutes. I mean, that's a quiet loss that nobody names out loud. And I don't want you to miss something else. Somewhere in you, there is already a version that knows how to rest, because I would guess that there is at least one small window, just one small window in your week where you already do it without noticing. The 10 minutes with the coffee before anybody else gets up in the mornings, or the drive with the radio on and nowhere urgent to be. 5 minutes with the dog leaning on your leg, or a kid asleep on your chest, or your hands in dishwater in the afternoons or the evenings before bedtime, with nothing else required of you in that exact minute. I mean, whatever it is, it exists. It exists. Find it in your own week before you decide you're someone incapable of rest. You're not incapable, you're rationed. And there's a difference, and the difference matters because rationed things can be given back to you slowly. Incapable things cannot. So here's the only thing I want you to do today. Not a vacation, not a whole Saturday blocked off for self-care, because you'll spend that Saturday feeling guilty in a much bigger room, which helps nobody, and honestly usually just proves your point to yourself that rest doesn't work for you. I tried it, doesn't work. Instead, pick one 10-minute window today, just 10 minutes. Just find 10 minutes somewhere and sit down and do nothing that produces anything. Nothing. No podcast that's secretly trying to self-improve, right? No scrolling that's work in disguise. No reading that's really research for something. Actual nothing. Do nothing. When the guilt shows up, and it will show up almost immediately, probably within the first minute or so, don't fight it and don't obey it. Just say, oh, look, there it is. There is the guilt, right on schedule, right on time, very dependable. There it is. Just notice it, okay? Just notice it. That's the whole assignment. Not to get rid of the guilt in one sitting, just to catch it in the act once. So you know that it's a habit and not a fact. So you know it's an old alarm going off in a house that isn't burning down anymore. I mean, what would happen if you let that be small? I mean, think about that for just a moment.